Hey, this is Alvin.
I'm Sid.
I'm Christian.
And on today's show, we're going to be talking about the new characters in the new Star Trek Picard show.
Live long and prosper.
Engage.
On screen.
I'm giving her all she's got, Captain.
Do it.
Photon torpedoes armed and ready to launch.
He's dead, Jim.
Red alert.
Today is a good day to die.
I'm a doctor, not a zookeeper.
We are Borg.
Make it so.
Warp speed, now.
Right. Yeah, so let's talk about the new characters in the Star Trek Picard show. They have I feel like they have a really cool looking cast. Whether or not that translates to, well thought out characters, I think is yet to be seen. Is there anyone that you guys are specifically drawn to or that you're interested in?
Dodge is the one who I'm interested because she asked for Picard's help.
Yeah, she's kind of like the catalyst seems for the whole.
She seems to start off this whole thing on, I kind of need your help. And it seems as if
she can trust him.
She trusts him, or she knows of him initially. Because I'm assuming based on that trailer, it's like she knew him through word of mouth or through some sort of other source, and then she traveled a long way and saying, "Hey, I need your help."
If you have the Borg connection, maybe she's drawn to him because of that.
Yeah.
There is a scene in the trailer where you see her walking in the rain, and then they cut away to kind of a wide shot, and it almost looks like Picard is on I guess they're the 24th or almost 25th century equivalent of TV screens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe she sees him, and then she's like, "Oh, that's Picard." I don't know. It's weird that she just ends up on his vineyard in France somehow, right? Yep. So it's obvious she's got a Borg connection. She's probably. She probably has. If you've seen her fighting, right? Yep. So she's had some action scenes. So it'd be interesting to see whether what they do with that character. There's speculation she's a Borg queen, that she might be a clone of Picard, a daughter of Picard, a genetic mutation used with Picard's DNA from the Romulans.
I don't know if you guys ever watched this or if you saw this, but from the trailers, the new ship and all that stuff and the new crew members, the thing they remind me most of is not any Star Trek that I've seen before, not even really Star Wars or any stuff like that. They remind me of Andromeda, that early 2000s, right? It had a bit of an Andromeda feel in this. A couple of the characters, right? Andromeda had that character wielding a sword, I think, at some point or whatever.
Yeah, because it was a little
a mix between that and Firefly, because the ship looks a little more run down.
I was just going to say Firefly, yeah.
Right? You get a feeling that they're trying to draw from some of those threads, at least on an aesthetic level, because it's supposed to not be, that he's in an official ship anymore or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if that's going to be a good thing or bad thing, but that signals something.
I think it's how they execute it, right? So if there's anything else, it's how you execute it. And I think as long as they put thought into it, they can execute it very well. But then we'll have to wait and see. I'm not too sure, right? Yeah. So let's talk about Alison Pill's character. So she plays Agnes Jurati. So to me, it looks like because they've shown data. They've Picard seems to be having these. He has this guilt over Data's death. To me, it's obvious that it's these are dream sequences. But the fact that they're showing all these androids, they've shown a dismantled Data or soon or android who's either lore or it's before. It's one of those two, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
that scene. Oh, wait, you're talking about a different scene. I'm thinking of the one where they pull out the body part, dismembered body parts.
In the drone,
Doesn't that look like just Data's body?
But Data's brothers, right? So Lore's been dismantled, and probably been dismantled. They found him dismantled. Given how he's been how he is villainous and evil and everything, right? So you have lore. You have and the thing is that Starfleet is always they wanted to dismantle Data, right? To learn more about him and make more of him. So to me, I'm wondering if, Alison Pill's character is to me, it seems like she's, that's been her life goal, was studying, these.
The Soong androids.
Yeah.
And the positronic matrix that Data has.
That makes him him. Right?
That makes him him and all other Soong androids like B4 and Lore.
Yeah. And the thing is that in the trailers, we've seen more androids, right? With I don't know if they had barcodes or something on their forehead that I'm marking. But to me, it seems like they're maybe Data. That's why I'm worried. Data is not just haunted because there's more with the android angle.
Yeah, the fact that there does seem to be that she's this scientist, that there's going to be this angle suggests to me that at some point it's going to go from he's just in your mind to, oh, there was something going on this whole time that actually relates to something in the real world, not just, your old man delusions about the person you feel guilty about, who sacrificed his life for yours or whatever.
Let's talk about Chris Rios. This is the pilot of the new ship that we saw earlier. I haven't seen too much of him. From what I can tell, he might be the captain of the ship. That might be his ship. Like he might be like the person that actually owns the ship, and that's how they get around.
And he's like the pilot.
Yeah, and this is the one that makes you think that they're going to be drawing from these smuggler sort of aesthetics with Firefly and stuff like that.
Like here's the sciencey person, here's the smuggly person, here's here's
a ragtag crew type thing. Which I don't know if that's going to work. Like it could, but I'm just a little cautious because what worked about this aesthetic that we're talking about of TNG being more, whatever, call it serious or call it like
serious, more like
less
structured,
war focused,
yeah, right.
More like asking those like timeless sci-fi questions.
Whereas this one, it's like more chaotic, a little bit more out of order, right?
I just wonder what they're going to do with those elements, because my personal opinion is I don't feel like those elements worked in the like more recent JJ movies, like arguably similar elements, or like taking from Star Wars or whatever you want to, say he was taking from. Obviously a different tradition than most of the general thrust of Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
So I'm suspicious about it. There's like some hope that they're drawing from maybe some different places, but also some risk that these parts might not gel together, and you might just end up with Action Man Picard thoughtlessly going into battle,
going around the universe, like kicking butt and not taking names, right?
Yeah, 75-year-old man or whatever he is.
Let's talk about Michelle Hurd as Raffi. She's the I guess she's his former Starfleet intelligence officer. She's the lady in the trailer who mentions mentions another unauthorized rescue mission. So I mean, I'm wondering if she's going to be like the security-ish person. You know what I mean? Like, again, mentioning the ragtag crew, when you start breaking them down into archetypes, right? Yeah.
She's the contact somehow.
Yeah, like I can see Picard. Maybe Picard knows her, and she puts him in touch with the person who maybe he needs a ship, right? Like a ship that can go to warp and go to dangerous places, and then that's how he comes. That's how he comes into contact with, with both those characters, right? There's also another character, Elnor. And I thought he was a Vulcan. I did do some reading up, and it sounds like he might be a Romulan, which would be interesting if he's like part of the unification movement, right? But he's the Romulan with a sword. And I think that I find that it seems weird. I hope it's going to work out.
Seems like a gimmick to me. Could be good. Could be
good.
Sure,
could be
whatever.
It
all depends. Like there could be a character behind that, and you hope that they. It all depends on if they got a good writing staff together. Because a lazy writing staff could just be like, we got a sword guy. Awesome. Yeah. We got a sword guy. He's wielding a sword. It's gonna be so cool. Everyone's gonna love it. Great.
Yeah.
Or they could be like, okay, well, here's the reason why this exists, and there's an actual backstory
to it. There's a reason for this. He became this.
Like all of these things, speculating. These could be positives or negatives. Although I'm more intensely skeptical of that, because it's like.
Yeah,
sword guy.
Swords
cool.
is like
sword guy. Awesome. I love swords.
The only time we saw swords was in TOS.
Yeah,
fencing with Hikaru Sulu.
No. We had Picard fenced, right?
Picard and then fencing over time in TNG.
Yeah. And there's also this Narek guy. This he seems kind of suspicious to me. Like I think they're gonna be playing him up as like the here's the guy you're not supposed to trust. But you have to trust because you don't have any choice. There's something more schemy about him, it seems,
because he's Romulan.
Yeah.
Right. What are you guys hoping to get out of the characters from Star Trek book? What are your biggest, could we kind of touched on this already? You've already talked about like what your biggest, what you're kind of worried about.
I'm mostly pessimistic. I'm mostly skeptical.
I'm actually hopeful about this show, but
Somebody's got to be.
Well, yeah. At the same time, I have to leave an open mind, right? Because it could either go one way or it could go the other way, right? Who knows? We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they have a good chance to make these characters really. I mean, they look interesting, but there has to be substance behind there.
Yeah,
it's like with every other Star
sure.
Trek show, even Discovery, which has really big issues with its plotting and all those things. But if honestly though, if you look at some of the characters like Saru, awesome.
But let's start. Discovery is more frustrating because it does some things well. At least if it was just a total disaster, it would be like whatever. But it promises more because it does some things in a kind of interesting way, and then you're just faced with all of the terrible decisions that it makes. I'm just hoping that this will not be like Discovery.
Yeah, no, me too. Like it's just like I was saying earlier. I don't want pew pew. Like I want substance from these characters, right? And I hope that they don't just fall into these like archetypes, and that they all get a chance to actually develop, and actually get some backstories. It's not just like here are your people. Let's just throw them in there and see what happens. Like
basically just good writing. So hopefully Picard has good writing.
Let's look up the names of the writers.
Please have good writing.
The Trekily theme is Gravity by Stanley Gurvich, found on Artlist. All stock images and videos were acquired through Pixabay, podcasting services acquired through Spreaker. All images and videos related to Star Trek are owned by CBS Corporation and are used within fair use laws. Please don't sue us.
How old is he, Patrick
It's like
Stewart?
80, 82, 80?
Patrick Stewart's 82?
He's like 80.
No way.
And it feels as if he's like 65.
Does it
or
qualify
something.
as elder abuse if the series gets renewed for another season?
That's a little harsh, man.
I don't know, man.
You do have a point.
That's too old.
Yeah. Well, you could just ask the same question for Betty White.
Oh yeah, no. If you're older than 80, what are you doing on screen? I guess they enjoy it.
Oh, you beat me.
80.
Oh, we have a source checker. That's great. Thanks, Mel.
Yeah, Patrick Stewart, he's 80 years old, right?
Wait. 79. Okay.
He's 79 as
Actually,
of
pushing
this
80.
recording. Yeah,
He's
but I mean,
70 of 9.
Cut
Cut that. No, you can't keep that in there.
No, is
Cut
that in?
that.
Is that out?
Out.
Make a decision.
Out.
Make it so.
No, it's bad.
Oh, it's in, she said.
No, it's bad.